if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, maybe you'll get...
Hello everyone, welcome back to Lumen K-pop, a place where every second is not just information but feelings, where the stories of stars are not just told but lived. Today, we're not just going to talk about music or about a concert or even about an incredible achievement. Today, we're going to talk about someone who has touched the world in his own way. We're going to talk about Jungkook, about the journey, about the second wave, about how a boy from Busan, who once had only a dream and a passion, now stands as an unshakable global force. Jungkook has long been the center of attention. Even in the early days of BTS, when the light wasn't as strong as it is now, it was clear that he was something different. His vocals, though young and immature at the time, carried emotions that were hard to describe. His body movements on stage weren't just choreography, they were a form of language. And beneath all his charm, there was a humility that no entertainment world could teach. It grew from the heart. As BTS pushed global boundaries, we watched Jungkook slowly but surely find his own voice. He didn't just sing, he tells. Songs like Euphoria and My Time open a window into his mind. Songs like Still With You are silent love letters to those who have always believed in him. But still, the world wondered, what happens when Jungkook stands alone? Without the other 6 members, without the group stage. Just him, the microphone, and the world. The answer came in late 2023. Golden, a debut album that not only answered the question but shattered the doubts. In one fell swoop, Jungkook showed that he was more than just an idol who could sing. He was an artist. He was a writer. He was the owner of his story. The song 7 broke into the Billboard Hot 100 at number 1. And it wasn't luck. It was the result of quality, strategy, and passion that had been growing for years. Collaborations with international stars like Latto and Jack Harlow proved that Jungkook knew how to reach the world without losing his identity.
With you, I don't ever feel calm. I can feel the sweat inside my palm. Play with me like cats and a string.
But time passed. The media moved on. Another project came. Another album was released. Golden, like many great works, slowly receded from the spotlight. But something surprising happened. In mid-2025, more than a year since its release, Golden shone again. But this time, it didn't come from promotions. Didn't come from big media. Didn't come from labels. Came from everyday people. From TikTok videos that included Too Sad to Dance and nostalgic edits. From Instagram accounts that use standing next to you to convey longing. From hearts that subconsciously returned to Jungkook. And suddenly, without warning, Golden came back to life. It wasn't just viral. It was a phenomenon. The album's songs were streamed millions of times again. Spotify saw a significant spike in US users. TikTok was flooded with new dance challenges. And radio stations in Los Angeles, New York, and Texas were playing Jungkook's voice again. The media turned to him again. Billboard, Rolling Stone, even NME, they all started talking again. Not because they were invited to talk, but because they couldn't ignore the power. This wasn't just a wave. This was an awakening. And in the tense silence, rumors began to fly. Was this a sign of something bigger? Would there be a solo concert in America? Would Jungkook return to the stage, not as part of BTS, but as himself, a solo star now shining in the international sky? Several Korean media outlets picked up on the news that the agency was discussing an overseas tour. The fan community found clues. The booking of venues with code names, the mysterious countdown in a signature gold color, and even Jungkook's own cryptic statement on a live stream that he missed the stage and wanted to see his fans again soon. And like a spark igniting the ocean, hashtags like #JungkookIsComing and #GoldenTour exploded on Twitter and TikTok. The world was on alert again. And if the concerts did happen, it wouldn't just be a series of shows. It would be a statement. A statement that Jungkook wasn't just surviving in the global marketplace. He was thriving. He was settling in. He was becoming the center. Because America isn't an easy stage for an Asian solo artist. It's a tough, selective market that often doesn't give second chances. But Jungkook? He wasn't just given a second chance. He was chased back.
I wish I wasn't struck by Cupid. I wish when I first saw you I knew this. When I'm with you I feel so useless. I feel diluted.
What made it all so compelling was the fact that this resurgence wasn't coming from just one fandom. Yes, ARMY played a key role, as usual, but this wave was also being driven by casual listeners, by music lovers who were moved not by name but by taste, by quality. And this was the most powerful evidence yet that Jungkook had gone beyond being an idol. He was a voice that was relevant, in the hearts of everyone. Moments like these are rare, when an artist isn't just successful but also immortal in the public consciousness. When an album not only explodes early on but comes alive more than a year later. If an American solo concert were to happen, we might see a show that's not just stunning but haunting, where cutting-edge stage technology meets Jungkook's signature cinematic visuals, where every move, every note, every spotlight becomes part of a bigger story. The story of a kid from Busan, who once failed an audition, who chose a small agency when everyone else was going for the big ones, who was dubbed the Golden Magne not because of his title but because of his soul, who now, in his mid-20s, is changing the tide of the global music industry with grit, hard work, and the unconditional love of those who believe in him. This journey is not over, and perhaps the next chapter will begin in America. But one thing's for sure, when Jungkook stands on that stage again, he won't be standing alone, because the whole world will be standing with him.
You don't ever wanna give me wings. You don't ever